Are y'all open to dating different ethnicities? Can you specify what you mean by different
I
ethnicities?
am. I am.
I am. Have you ever? You always. I am. But do you do it? Do you?
Um, and
Do
that's
you?
the point we make. I said it about one of my video. What I shocking things I learned since moving to Houston. I'm gonna start putting these links in here so y'all could watch these videos. It's a Houston, Texas playlist about Houston being very diverse, but at the same time being very segregated. The difference is that the segregated stuff it's separate but equal versus it like in some other places like it's separate but it's like the black places are not as nice or the Spanish places are not as nice. Houston doesn't necessarily have that issue, but I noticed that the social scene can be somewhat segregating. But
White,
that's not.
and African American. Okay. So I'll just talk about my. Maybe this will be another a clip we'll make into a different video because we're kind of diverting, but you know how these lives go. Um, I feel like I'm just gonna be realistic. I'm open to like certain ethnicities, but the reality is that I still gonna have my preference, right? Like being open doesn't mean that that's not that you still don't have what you want, like a specific preference. You're trying to be more open minded as you get older. But I had a conversation over the weekend and my friend was over and her friend was over. She's African American. My friend is African, but she's from a different country. And sometimes we try to minimize the importance of culture because we feel like, oh, we're in America, everyone's the same, kumbaya. And like I get it to an extent, but like culture shapes a lot of your worldview. It shapes a lot of how you think. The little things you do, just feel like that's how I am. No, that's part of how you're raised. That's your culture. You know what I mean? So I feel like sometimes I don't know, like you want to be open minded, but at the same time, you have to be real with yourself. Like you have to find that balance between being open minded and being real with yourself. It's like there's just certain things that I just feel like I wouldn't be able to adjust to, or like I don't want to be an African American studies professor in my house. Like I had that minor at Temple University. I don't want my house to be like me always talking about race. I'm gonna trying to say, oh well, that person did.
Because of course you're thinking if you're dating somebody who's different ethnicity that they would be doing their own work, right? But I get what you're saying. That doesn't necessarily mean they're doing the
That's
work.
not true. They might think that, like, Nena, you're overdoing, you're over exaggerating. That's not true. That person really wasn't racist. You're just overthinking. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to deal with like race all the time. I'm not saying I want to ignore race, but I don't want it to be something I constantly have to be reminded of.
Mhm.
And when I think about being in an interracial relationship, that's what I think of. That's what I think of, like race always having to be something that I have to be cognizant of or have to pay attention to. And I don't know, but the brothers out here, they be playing games, so I might have to do what I have to do. You feel me? Like you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, like I said other ethnicities love to date but not marry black women. Interesting.
They
Maybe
like
that's the fetish part of it, like something different, something to try. But
Lil
there's
Ernest. Me personally, I deal with ethnicities and nationalities. I'm culturally diverse. That's most men. I feel like most men are definitely way more open minded than women. Don't forget to please like the video, like the video. This kind of reminds me of like the what we saw on IG yesterday when that girl talked about like how Nigerian men like to date Black American women but not marry them. And this
but
comic
some of this is about men too, to an extent, but men do it more. I think it depends because we talk about ethnicities is very broad. What ethnicities? What cultures? Are we talking about just within Black people? Are we talking about just within South America? Are we talking about just within Europe? Because are we talking about like there's many different? This is a very layered conversation, but I don't know because at the same time people would tell you that they do marry.
married. Yeah, I feel like I see a lot of interracial couples getting people
Mhm.
that get married. Although I'm open, but I'm realizing it's more about mindset because not all skin folk are kinfolk. Wow, that's deep. Not all skin folk are kinfolk.